Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football. Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. This is a Chelsea fan's view as we look forward to the Chelsea versus Manchester United game on the weekend, and how fitting that this is going to be about Manchester United. The preview for the Chelsea-Man United game will be dropping tomorrow, and I do want to give you guys a bit of context. I am going to talk about Man United in the preview as they have been playing and as they are going to be led by Michael Carrick, because that is important to clarify. Today's news that we have for you in terms of Ralf Rangnick will not apply to this weekend, because Michael Carrick will be in charge of the Man United team. So when you're looking at that, it's going to be Carrick's United, not Rangnick's United. So just to put that into perspective, that is how I'm going to approach the preview tomorrow. Keep your eyes peeled for that one. Make sure you're subscribed if you are new. Now, Ralf Rangnick has agreed to become the interim at Manchester United for 6 months. This shocks me because just last season, Chelsea offered Ralf Rangnick, do you want to be the interim up until the end of the season? He said no. And we were like, okay, no problem. We'll go and get Thomas Tuchel then. But the original plan was to get Ralf Rangnick as an interim and then get Julian Nagelsmann. You remember the link with Nagelsmann when Chelsea were thinking of getting him after we sacked Lamps. We couldn't get him in the middle of the season. We could only possibly get him at the end of the season. So we thought, let's get a stopgap. Let's get an interim in. Ralf Rangnick would be the guy. He said that he didn't want a short-term role. He said that he wanted something long-term, so an interim doesn't interest him. What's changed? What's changed? I mean, crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely unbelievable. Has he been offered more money? Perhaps. But the news is that Ralf Rangnick has been offered an interim for 6 months. After the 6-month interim job, he will be moving into a consulting role at Manchester United on a 2-year basis. So I'm looking at possible director of football. Is that what we're looking at? In terms of Ralf Rangnick, this is, I have to be honest, this is a good appointment. For Manchester United, this is the sort of level that they need to be looking at. Now, Ralf Rangnick, it can go either one or two ways. I look at Ralf Rangnick and I go, on paper, this should be unbelievable. Why? Because Ralf Rangnick is looked at as the godfather of football management at the moment. The professor of football is his nickname. Why? Because he has influenced names like Jurgen Klopp, Thomas Tuchel, Julian Nagelsmann, Ralf Hasenhüttl. He has influenced the methods that these managers now use at their teams successfully. Hasenhüttl, I mean, maybe not as successful as the rest, but you get my drift. So I look at that and think, wow. I mean, if he's the flipping guy that's influenced all of these lads who are coaching very, very well, their teams are doing fantastic, then surely this guy's going to succeed, surely. Especially at Man United. You look at Man United on paper and you go, wow, that's a team, But on the other side of the coin, shout out to my good friend Miz, his channel name is The Other Side of the Coin. The other side of the coin, Van Gaal was at Man United. And that was meant to be an influencer in football management. That was meant to be someone that would have the respect and the prestige in that Man United job based on what he has achieved previous. Van Gaal's not a rubbish manager, but he came to Man United and he got made to look basic. Is the same thing going to happen with Ralf Rangnick? I'd like to think that with the ways that teams play now, Ralf Rangnick would more than likely be a success rather than a failure. Why? Because some of the methodologies that Ralf Rangnick has implemented or has helped influence to other managers that are now basing their teachings on what he offered, like the Gegenpress. For those of you that don't know the Gegenpress, this is a term that I know is going to be thrown around football for the next few weeks, and everyone's going to be looking at this going, oh yeah, the Gegenpress. Yeah, I guarantee it, everyone's going to be rinsing this and milking this term to the point where it's going to become cringe. I can see it coming from a mile away. But the ability to get your team to press after losing the ball is the Gegenpress, rather than go deep. So what would the traditional way of playing from back in the day, you'd lose the ball. The first thing that you have in mind is quick, get back and defend. The gegenpress that he was one of the pioneers for is the moment you lose the ball, you run and you go get it back. You go forward, you don't go backwards. You go forwards, you press and you apply the pressure to win the ball back immediately in their half or by their box where their defense still have the ball and where they've won it. That's the gegenpress. The other thing that he helped influence or he helped pioneer was being able to implement zonal marking during a set piece. The traditional way was to man mark. Everyone pick a man. There's a free kick or a corner. All right, you get that man. You get that man. I'm going to take this man. Everyone get a man. Everyone mark someone. Man marking during a set piece. Ralf Rangnick was like, no, zonal. Let's go zonal during a set piece. Each player take their zone. Don't focus on one man, focus on your zone. He was the pioneer of that. So you look at some of the methods and Ralf Rangnick's done a lot in football. His history in terms of management's got to a German Cup final, came close to a league title, got to the semi-final of the Champions League, lost to Alex Ferguson's Man United. How ironic. So he's got credentials. And in terms of his philosophy, I think, is going to work very well with this Man United team. Why? Because much like Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea, and this is where I'm looking from a Chelsea point of view, Thomas Tuchel is of the mindset during a game where a player falls into a certain situation or a certain problem. Thomas Tuchel doesn't like to offer solutions to players in terms of, oh, you must do this, you must do that when you reach this problem. No. He is much more of a manager that tries to get the player to create the solution for themselves in a certain situation. That is Thomas Tuchel's way. He wants players to have the ability to think for themselves and to create for themselves and be able to have that capacity mentally to create a certain scenario to get them out of a hole or to create something going for the team going forward. Thomas Tuchel's much more of that mindset. You get managers that are so robust in their ways. They're like, you must do this, you must do that, you must do this. Thomas Tuchel's not like that. Ralf Rangnick's not like that either. Ralf Rangnick is of the mindset that he really believes that players really first, before thinking about what they're going to do with their feet, need to be able to know what they're doing up here before anything. And that is a very good way to go. When you look at Man United, they've got the talent. They've got the names. They've got everything in their locker. But they're just not managed correctly. And what I mean by that is the man management in that team. Being able to get all of those players on side. Those players believing in your methods. Those players listening to you. Those players believing that you are the man that's going to make them better. That is the Ralf Rangnick philosophy. He wants to try and make players better. That is, he doesn't want players to try and work to a certain way. He wants to make each individual player better. That is his way. And I feel like that is what Man United need right now. As I've said, they've got the talent. It's on paper. You look at that team and you go, flipping hell, I would have that team any day of the week. They've got all sorts of names there. They just need to come out of their shell. They need to be able to have a way that's going to get the best out of every single one. And every single one of those players playing positively, with a good mindset, believing in the manager. And if they do that, trust me, United will be title contenders. At some point, maybe not now, maybe into next season, whatnot, they will be. Now, this move is very interesting because it's just for a 6-month basis. It's on an interim. So if you're thinking of Ralf Rangnick to completely implement a philosophy in the space of 6 months, it's too short. I think he's going to, stabilize the ship. I think he's going to try and get everyone on side, at least temporarily. Try and get something out of these players individually. Finish the season off the best way they can, and then I believe they're actually going to go in for Ten Hag. And it's funny because I've got a couple of mates that are Man United fans, one in particular, and he told me this. The last couple of days we've been talking, and he's been saying, he's like, yo, Younes, best watch, yeah? We're gonna get Rangnick on an interim, and then we're gonna go and get Ten Hag. We're gonna get Ten Hag, and I'm like, nah, you won't get Ten Hag. Surely not. You won't. Maybe Poch, you won't get Ten Hag. Are you going to get Ten Hag? What about Zidane? Go and get Zidane. Is that not happening? No, it's looking like now, if Rangnick comes in on an interim, which he has, Ten Hag in the summer. I mean, rightfully, you'd think, instead of getting an interim on the 6-month deal, if they're really going to go for a Poch, they would try and apply the pressure from now and just keep Carrick in the job, because chances are Poch is going to move on from PSG very, very imminently. So I'd look at that and think that would be the best course of action. If they're going for a Rangnick, which they have now, that means they're lining up someone for the end of the season. And the end of the season, Ten Hag is going to be that guy. And that would be a great appointment. I think for Man United, that would be a great appointment. You look at Ten Hag and what he's been doing at Ajax and what he's doing at Ajax now, I think he's the sort of profile that Man United need. And we could be on the brink of seeing Man United transform their fortunes around and start really becoming the club they should be. So, maybe they're in a rut at the moment, but the way that it's looking, it's just going to be temporary. We'll see what happens. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Meanwhile, at Arsenal, I'm kidding. Arsenal are just constantly in the mud, really, isn't it? I mean, Man United get into the mud, and now they're looking like they're about to get themselves out. Arsenal got to start acting. Look at United. They're making moves. Arsenal have got to start doing that same thing if they can. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit that notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Don't forget the match preview for Chelsea United tomorrow. Again, I stress it will be United playing under Carrick, not Rangnick. So forget Rangnick for now. Luckily for Chelsea, that's a good thing. I'd rather play against Carrick's United. I think we're going to get the best out of them. Although Rangnick's United, that could be different, but we won't have to find out against Chelsea now, will we? Thankfully. Anyway, I'll see all of you tomorrow for the match preview. Have a good one. Look after yourself. See you in a bit. Take care and peace.